actually worked here at the school for 18 years, so it's a big privilege for me to actually come back and be Master of Ceremonies for this wonderful event. Hopefully more people come in as we go. So just be patient, and we have a lot of guest speakers, a lot of good dancers. And to end our program, we'll have a meal at the hall. So to begin our festivities for this afternoon, Rose Richardson is a member of our community. She's familiar with the traditional lifestyle and the stories of our community. She's a storyteller, but specializes mainly on traditional land medicine. Rose presently teaches Adult 12 in Beauval and travels 200 kilometers daily to teach the program. Why? Her interest in working with adults who have fallen through the cracks in terms of educational programming. This gives them an opportunity to regain their footing and upgrade their education. Rose tries not to be judgmental and believes the only reason we are where we are is to help others mentally, spiritually, and physically whenever possible. Her philosophy is you can't help a person, at least don't hurt them. So what do you think? You can be the judge. So please welcome Rose Richardson.
Is this on? Yeah. Can everybody hear me? Yeah. Even in the back? If you can't, then maybe you should be quiet. Just jokes. Anyway, I'm really glad they had one of these things without a cord. For one reason, I don't like being tied down by a leash. I think they can't, at my age, tie me down. So it would be just a problem for me and for everybody else if I was tied down. So if I'm walking around, you know I'm free. Thank you. But hey, you were supposed to clap. So I think this is going to be a beautiful day. We've had our smudge. I made Thunderbird smudge the other day, especially for here, because we need our voices back. We need to unite the community. And today, I call on the Great Spirit, the universe, our elders that have passed on, and our elders that are alive today, to bring us together in unity. You know, there's a story of Joshua in the Bible, and Joshua fought the Battle of Jericho, and he won without using any negative force. They walked around the blockade, and it was 6-foot walls, and at the very end, the walls crumbled. That's what we can do if we unify one another, if we stand together and be proud of our culture. Like today, I call on the spirits, the angels, the universe, our ancestors, to come and bring us together here in unity so that we can be a strong community once again. O Creator, Kemaskoshu and Kochim Naman, Wichihinan, Kamyuk Machiak, Sagitwin, Motataya, Minabiatswin. Hey, hey. So with that, I would like to make a few comments. What I'd like to talk about is land-based medicine, our traditional medicine. The land-based medicine is drawn on the fact that our people were strong. Our people knew how to survive. There was no doctors around, no hospitals, no clinics, and yet we survived. We were a strong people. Till we became colonized. Remember, when they took the children away and put them in residential school to take the Indian out of them. Well, they'll never take the Indian out of this gal. I'm proud of how the Creator made me, and I intend to stay that way. Long ago, my mom would say, when I'd be picking medicine, my mom would say, "Kato pega sonanma." She'd say, "You'll go to jail." Because at one point in time, women were always strong. But they criticized them, they demonized them, and they burnt them to the stake as witches. Well, I don't really care what you call me. I might be an Indian witch after all. Anyway, it was just a few years ago, in 2017, that UNDRIP was signed. UNDRIP is the United Nations Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People. So at that point in time, I came out more open and more strong. Because then they couldn't do anything to me because I had a right as an Indigenous person. So our people know a lot about traditional medicine. Whoop. So today I'm going to talk about all the ones that are on the wall, plus maybe a few more. And just remember today when I'm speaking, I'm just a woman. I'm not a doctor. But I use traditional medicine, and I try and live a traditional life of physical and spiritual well-being. But we have to understand too that our power is not based, as a people, is not based only on our traditional ways in our medicine. Everybody has power, and you can use your hands to help people, or you can use your hands to hurt people. You can use your speech to talk good about people, or you can cut them down. And in this way, you've used it for good or bad. And the responsibility is your responsibility. So whenever anybody says anything about anybody, try and find good things to talk about. Because everybody is basically a good person. They have good qualities. And if you can't find anything good to say about anybody, you have a problem. The problem is you. So find all the time the good within people, because we have no right to judge. Historically, in terms of the elders, you have to use your mind and listen with your heart. You have to open your mind and listen with your heart. So when people talk, listen with your heart. It's a whole new way of thinking. I know that we generally say education is important. Yeah, it is. But land-based medicine and land-based knowledge is more important. I'll tell you, if anything ever happened in this world, and we rely so much on technology, we'd suffer a lot. But if we know how to live with the land, utilizing the land, we will survive. Right now, what is happening is pharmacopoeia has taken control, and a lot of people suffer from mental anguish and hurt. Something that happened when they started taking away our culture. But I'll tell you, Native people always dwelt with natural healing. The medicines they give now are sort of addictive. So when somebody is worried about something, and we all go through stages and times where we can't cope anymore, and that's when they send us to the doctor, and the doctor gives us medication, and we rely on that. But the Creator has put all the medication we need on the very land we live. And it's there. But because we've been colonized, we end up not knowing we're so colonized. We'll never question what the doctors give us. We'll just take it. And yet, in terms of our own, we'll question, hey, what did you put in there? But we'll never ask the doctor that, It's because you're colonized. We have to decolonize ourselves. We have to decolonize ourselves. I seen a young guy, whether he was a student of mine or not, who attempted to overdose because he was so tired of having a grade 12, no place to go, no job to have. And he called me about 10 o'clock at night to tell me what was happening. And I took my smudge bowl and I smudged, and I sent him a picture of me smudging for him. And the young guy cried, and he said, now I can go to sleep. But he had already spent a week in the hospital because of an attempted overdose. And we have to think about that. We have to know and not be afraid to pick our medicine. I buy some medicine. I buy it mainly because if I don't have to pick it, then I'll allow it to grow. And I buy it and I use it, and that's okay too. It's okay for me to do that because I'm allowing the plants to grow. People say, how do you recognize plants? Who taught you? Well, if you open up your mind and you open up your heart and develop a totally different way of thinking, you will find out that on every plant, there's a Creator's signature, and it's a universal code. But you have to open your mind and open your heart. You'll see the plant, and you'll be able to read the code. I'll tell you what it is and what it's for. But that's developing a whole new way of thinking. I got a university degree in education. and I got it with distinction. I had a dream, and it said, why do you have that picture on the wall? Is it so you can tell people, look what I got? I got a B.Ed with distinction. That B.Ed I got with distinction, I got from Earth. I got it from here. I got it from man-made, who decided, okay, we can now give her this because we've practically colonized her. Well, I'll tell you, we have a lot of elders who get exploited too. They think that, okay, we'll give an elder, maybe 2 cigarettes, a pouch of tobacco, and they say because Native people, you can't take money, But long ago, if an elder came in, they gave them a whole hind quarter of moose, they gave them bedding, they gave them horses, That was our monetary system years ago, and it was survival. So the midwives got all that so that they could survive, So we got to put it in context in terms of how it should be. I went to an elders conference, and they gave the people $200. I was talking to one Kokom. She was raising 4 of her grandchildren, and she was on old age pension. And she had to hire a babysitter to keep her grandchildren while she went to the meeting. And I told them that was unfair to treat that woman in that manner. I have a job. I don't need that, but she did. And they made us sign an agreement, like a consent form. And I said, okay, I'll sign the consent form. But there's going to be an improviso put on that thing. I agreed to sign the declaration. I agreed to sign this paper. The minute you guys start honoring your agreements too. I said one day, when the cows and the plows start rolling in, then it becomes effective. That's what you promise the people. And until then, it's not worth, my signature's not worth anything. You come across with what you promised, and then it's effective, And they didn't like it. I liked it. I thought I was given the freedom to talk, and I would talk for the people that wanted to be there and share their knowledge. I'll tell you one thing, don't give it away, because when you give it away, you'll have to go and see the doctor, you'll have to go to the drugstore to buy your own medicine, and they'll sell it, So what they said was not good for us, they use it to make money, but that's a short-term gain for them. Because when I talk about knowledge, the knowledge was given to the people from somewhere higher. I may have a paper from university, but I don't have a paper acknowledging other stuff because that's written in the universal code where I learned. I didn't learn it from books. We're teaching from beyond books. So that's knowledge that has been given to us. You know, you see a lot of people that say, oh, I don't know anything about it. Well, decolonize yourself and start learning about it. The elders knew a lot of things. The elders knew so much. When a meteor hit the land in Russia and burnt 50 kilometers wide, the forest just got knocked down, you know. And the people in Green Lake, the elders, say that the sky was lit up for 5 days or more. There was no day and night separation. It was daylight because they seen it. But people couldn't talk about it because the one most knowledgeable about it was a lady called Frances LaFont, and because she was a Tweety-like lady, really slim, they called her Cicatrice Françoise. She had a lot of knowledge, but this was the time of oppression. This was the time when we were not allowed to speak. This was a time when we ended up being colonized and we accepted it. So people were shamed. They were shamed for their culture. Like, not too long ago, an elder told me, you shouldn't dress in black. All the time you dress in black. Well, if you drink coffee all the time on the road, you know, if you wear white, you'll have stains all over your clothes. But I also realized that, you know, the priests dress in black, the nuns dressed in black. Were they evil? You know, it's like, we can't be judgmental. And with that, I think I talk too much. That's the whole thing of being free and you're given a mic. You think that you can talk all day, and because I'm a teacher, I could say, sit down, you know? And I don't do that anymore, you know? I try and, if my students come to school 2 days out of a week, or they come for an hour or two, and I know that they've been taking drugs and they're depressed. If I can have them for 2 hours, then those 2 hours I know that they're safe. They're with me, and I'll make sure that I feed them. You know, I always have toast and coffee and jam and whatever I can take. Mainly because as a kid, we were dirt poor, and many times we had nothing to eat. And I know it's important to have a little bit of nourishment for the children and the people that you're with, you know. And I like teaching young adults or grade 12 and that. I worked with kindergarten, let's say 1 year, half-time last year. And you know, they're crying on you and tears on you. You have to wash your clothes every day, wipe the snot off. And I just decided, well, adults don't do that. But I realized that they do. Sometimes we need a shoulder to cry on. So the first one I'd like to talk about is sweetgrass. Sweetgrass is used in ceremony. It's also used to make your hair grow. So we'd rinse, but generally what happened is we didn't have the modern type systems right now. So when you use any plant, you don't flush it down the drain. Even the water that you wash it with, you put it back to the earth where it belongs. You put it in a clean place. So sweetgrass is generally braided into 3 strands, and it's used in ceremony to draw the good spirit blessings. It is also used as a final hair rinse to help your hair grow. Okay, we'll move on to the next item. The next is sage. You can go into the writing. Sage is used in ceremony to ward away any negativity, and it's used as a relaxing bath when one is overtired. So what you do is you don't turn around, put sage and throw it in the tub. You end up tying it up. One thing that's really good is to get white knee-highs, put some in there and just let it sit and float in the water. And it's used to gain appetite. I don't think we need that one. And clear vision. So that's heart vision, spiritual vision, and vision of the eyes. The next one is yarrow. Go on. And yarrow is a common plant. It's used for bee stings and insect bites, and it helps relieve itching. And when it's dried, it can be mixed with mint and wild bergamot. Yarrow is used in different countries. We use yarrow for stings. In Germany, they use it for when a member of the family dies and it becomes difficult to have a good rest. They end up making tea with it, which apparently we did long ago also. So there's some parallels in terms of other countries, in terms of using it as a relaxant. Okay, and the dandelion is used it's used as food. Do you know that the dandelion, before it blossoms, you can actually fry it in butter? And the leaves you can use for salads when they're young. And it's also used for kidney problems, liver problems, and stomach problems, and also used in a mix for cancer. The pitcher plant is a heart medicine, and it's generally known as frog pants. They used to call it egotasak. Egotasak, I guess. That means frog pants. They generally flower in the spring. The first flowers you'll see in the spring are the lady slipper. And well, of course you'll see the dandelions, but in terms of really big flowers, the first ones you see is a pitcher plant and also the lady slipper. And for many years, about 30 years, I've been monitoring those very plants, and they bloom on June the 10th. every year. You know, so they have sort of a cycle that they follow too. So the pitcher plant is a heart medicine, but it's also used in mixing with other medicines. Wild bergamot is used in Earl Grey tea, and it's used for relaxing and soothing the mind, body, and the spirit. It's also used for colds and, you know, sinus problems, anything like that. And gumweed, many of our people have to go on dialysis. You know, the thing is, gumweed, I got this from a vision. Like, people will get visions too of what to use. And when there's a lot of plants, the same type of plant growing in an area, like when there was a lot of TB, they had a plant that grew all over. In terms of people that have kidney problems, Rick and I were in a place near Maple Creek at a medicine gathering. And when we were there, this here guy came along, and he was from the States, he was from Montana. And he said, I don't even know why I'm here. He said, I was driving, making a delivery, he said, and somehow I was told I had to go into Maple Creek. And when he got to Maple Creek, he found out there was a medicine gathering. And he came there just as Rick and I were speaking. And at the very end, he came and found us. And he said, when I was 4 years old, going on 5, he said, I got really sick, and I was hospitalized for 1 month. He said, the doctor sent me home. They said his one kidney is shriveling up and dying, and he'll have to live on 1 kidney for the rest of his life. And he said, I was sleeping, and this lady came down from the mountains. There was a reserve up on the mountains. And he said, she came down from the mountains, and she told my mom, try this lily yellow plant. Just take 1 bud and make tea and have him drink it for a month. Maybe it will help. And he said, he ended up saying, that was about 70 years ago. And he said, after I drank about a liter of it, he said, I never had problems again. And he never went on dialysis. And we had so many people to talk to that Rick and I, after we finished, went looking for the guy. Nobody's seen him, and nobody's seen the big truck that he was supposed to have come there with. But he came and spoke to us and told us the story. Now, what was he? Was he human? Was he a messenger? You know, was he there to tell us something and to teach us? It really doesn't make any difference. I'm just so thankful. When we looked for him, we wanted to know his name. But he knew our name, but we didn't know his, and we couldn't find him again, you know. So he was at least 5 years old. He went on to live without having any problems for the next 9 decades. And you tell me if that isn't powerful medicine. About an hour later, 2 white guys from St. Walbert come along, and they said, "Hey, Rose, Rick, what are these flowers? We found them, and we figured you'd be interested in them." And we looked at one another, and we said, that was what the guy came and told us about. That very plant, which is called weeds, which farmers nowadays try and get rid of, and that was a medicine. You know, so that's the story of how I gained knowledge about gumweed. And after we got home, a lady from Mr. Wasis came and she said, "I'm in the hospital almost every month from kidney problems." And we said, "Take 1 gumweed, you know, drink about at least 2-3 cups a day for a few days." And she never had problems with her kidneys again. But that's the same thing in terms of using spruce gum to make tea, and spruce gum is used for cancer or used for kidneys. You know, a lot of them fall into group categories where you can combine them. And everybody knows about rat root. Rat root is used for, you know, if you have a cold or a toothache, or it's also used for endurance. It's for people that are running, skating, anything, walking. And you chew the rat root. And they also say that it's a good protection medicine. One day the priest was listening to everybody talking about medicine and how rat root was a protection medicine. And the priest said, "Oh, you know, that's really a lot of superstition, you know. You can't believe everything you hear, that's superstition." And at the very end he said, "Give me one in case it's true," and he put it in his pocket, you know. So he ended up always having rat root in his pocket, close to his heart. And blueberries, you know, they're called, people make minsapwe, you know, they end up liking picking berries just to go sit in the bush and relax, but it's also used to stabilize your sugar levels. And we found that out after we started making dried blueberry powder, and it became, you know, really a big item for diabetics. There's this one guy, probably you know him, his name is Ted Liberty. His blood sugar level was, I think, 25, and they couldn't lower it. And they hospitalized him. When they ended up letting him have some time out from the hospital, he drove to Green Lake and came and got some blueberry powder. And then he went back to the hospital. They checked him out. The following day, his sugar level had dropped to 10, you know. So you can see the difference in terms of the Creator gives you medicine in terms of food, and it's also medicine at the same time. Go ahead. Eh? Pardon? No, that's fine. And pineapple weed, it grows all over. Pineapple weed is to reduce stress and to calm your nerves. It would work just as well as methadone only you wouldn't become addicted and you could share it with your family. Mind you, don't tell the doctors I said that. Broadleaf plantain. Broadleaf plantain is used to draw out infection from a wound, and all you do is apply it to the wound, and sometimes you have to use grease or bear grease or whatever to hold it in place and tie it in place. A guy was going from La Loche to Saskatoon. He was being sent to Saskatoon. He stopped at the coffee shop, and his leg was really red and infected. And I went out and showed him the broadleaf plantain, which grows all over, and ended up rinsing it out and putting it on his wound and tying it up, so that it was covered. In the evening, by 7 o'clock, he dropped by. He said, I didn't have to go see the doctor after all. He said, look, he said, I can walk, And that was used long ago, and that's a land-based medicine. Maybe we can, what are we, 14, page 14. Fireweed is also used as a tea. It's an astringent. You can wash with it, and you can apply it over wounds. I tried putting it into a microwave to dry it till I opened the microwave, and it was all white. It had quickly turned to seed in the microwave. So don't use a microwave for drying. And valerian is a really, really hard plant to find. It grows in this area, and it's called Upside. It grows in the area. It's a heart medicine, and it also helps you to sleep. For people that have insomnia, it's really good. It's called valerian, and if you can buy it and leave our plants grow. But one thing about that plant, it hides from people. If you're not given any direction to use that plant, you won't recognize it. When it first comes up, the leaves are different, they're sharp and long, and the stem is about a foot high. And when they're finished turning to seed and dropping the seed, they go down to a totally different plant. And only certain people can find it, because you're not supposed to pick it when it's in blossom or blooming, so that it can generate more plants through its seed. And the last one I have here is what they call chaga, but our people called it pusagan, and they used it long ago. They used it for cancer, they used it for many things, but they didn't talk about it. Like I say, it was only 2017 where we were allowed to come into the open in terms of our culture and our medicine. So earlier on, there was a guy called Alexander Solzhenitsyn, and he was from Russia, and they did a study about Russia. And there's a certain place in Russia where nobody ever got cancer. And they were exactly the same as us. Only we have cancer. But for their coffee, they use this chaga, which we call pusagan. But one thing I always tell people is we called it Pusagan and we used it. You know, Chaga is a Russian name. And no matter if you talk Cree or English, everybody says Chaga. Well, decolonate yourself. It's Pusagan. And there was a story, they say if there's a story and it has Wisaki in it, that's a very powerful medicine. And everybody will remember the story of Wisaki Omeki Mitsu when Wisaki was looking for food because he was really hungry. And it was a hot summer day and he sat on a rock and he burnt his behind. So he walked on and then he couldn't find any food, so he turned around and came back. And on that rock, he seen this dry meat. And he picked it up and he said, "Thank you for leaving me food here. Now I can eat." And he took that dry meat and he bit on it. And a little bird sitting on a birch tree sang, "Wisaki Takomiki Mitsu, Mitsu, Mitsu." That means Wisaki Tak just ate his scab. And so that's a story about Wisaki Tak within a plant. And that's how we gain knowledge of it in terms of elders telling us stories. So open up your mind, open up your heart, develop a total new way of thinking. When I go to heaven, I'll be, hey, I'm assuming I'm going to go to heaven, you know. But when I go to the hereafter, they're not going to tell me, did you graduate from what university? That's a good university, you know, you could go up the ladder, you know. They're not going to ask me, how much money do you have in your bank account, you know. Do you have an air fryer? They're not going to ask me anything like that. Because the only reason you were put on this earth is to help other people, to help one another. So remember, use your mouth, your hands, your mind to praise people, to look at the good qualities, not to destroy them. We've been destroyed enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rose. On behalf of everybody here, I'd like to present you with this gift for your knowledge and your inspirational speech. Next on the program, we'll have Marianne from MCDC giving a speech.
Good morning, Hansen. I would like to start off by giving appreciation and thanks to the Creator and the elders for providing us with guidance and for sharing their wisdom. It's an honor to have you all here on our sacred Treaty 6 territory. I would also like to say thank you to our elder, Mrs. Rose Richardson, for her words of wisdom. I would like to acknowledge Public Health Agency of Canada for the funding which is provided to revitalize the language and culture in our community, to teach our young children and families the importance of their traditional ways of life. I would also like to give thanks to the Board of Directors, my staff, partnerships, which is Northern Lights School Division and St. Paschal School, stakeholders, local and surrounding area. Recognition is also given to the parents for their support and involvement in our Aboriginal Head Start program. And of course, community involvement. We deliver in our program curriculum the 6 components, which consist of culture and language, education, nutrition, social support, health promotion, and parental involvement. We focus heavily this year on our culture, where we have been bringing in a lot of elders and doing a lot of different programming. Like last week, we ended up going on a field trip. We took our kids on an overnight field trip to Saskatoon. We introduced them to Wanuskewin, where they were able to take part in a lot of activities there. So hopefully it was memorable for them. Remember it years down the road. With that, I'm going to say education is the heart of the community, because they are the nexus that ties everyone in the community together. Everyone knows either a child who attends or an adult who works in public schools. One of the marvelous things about community is that it enables us to welcome and help people in a way we couldn't as individuals. When we pool our strengths and share the work and responsibility, we can welcome all people and perhaps help them find self-confidence and inner healing. Well-being at a community level is important for building resilience. Resilience is when a group of people or a community support each other. Community involvement and support can improve resilience and help people tackle challenges and opportunities as they arise. So let's work together as a community to connect with our younger generation so that they can carry on the traditions. One of my favorite quotes is, "It takes a whole community to raise a child." So everybody, please do your part. With that, I would like to thank our elder and knowledge keeper, Mrs. Rose Richardson, for sharing her words of wisdom and knowledge. Also in attendance was supposed to be chairperson of the board, MCDC board, is Mr. Jeff McCabe. He's unable to be with us today, so I will share his message. I was hoping to attend, but I'm told to avoid crowds for the next few days. So here is what I put together. Good morning, everyone. Please accept my apologies for not being able to attend in person. On behalf of the boards of directors at MCDC Aboriginal Head Start program, and in cooperation with St. Pascal Community School, welcome to today's event. I want to thank the MCDC staff as well as staff of St. Pascal School for all the work and planning involved in putting today's event together. I'm sure you will all enjoy the day. I have been involved with MCDC for 20 plus years, and the program just keeps getting better. We have been able to play a huge part in the education of many children in the community and hope to continue to do so. For those of you with children in the program, I hope that you can help us by encouraging others with preschool-age children to enroll them into the Head Start program. It's about the kids, but not all about the kids. We are building a program that will benefit the parents as well as elders in our community. With that said, please enjoy the speakers and entertainers.
Thank you, Marianne. Next on our agenda, the Creeland Dancers are Western Canada's longest-serving Indigenous square group, specializing in a unique fusion of Métis jigging, traditional Métis dances, and square dancing. The group was founded nearly 4 decades ago by a Cree and Métis elders, Teresa Sisikwa-Sis and her late husband, Ken. They offer entertainment, educational workshops, and dance instruction. The Creeland Dancers not only provide an entertaining and high-energy show, but a cultural, enriching experience. So please help me welcome the Creeland Dancers.
Good afternoon, everybody. Alrighty, so we are the Creeland Dancers, and So unfortunately, our lead dancers and our managers are unable to make it today. So we'd like to acknowledge Amy Cizaquasis, who is not here, who is our manager, and she does all the talking. And also Kevin and Shayla are not here as well. So the Creeland dancers originate from Dirties and Okemas First Nation, and they actually they trained over 170 dancers all across Saskatchewan. And each dancers come from various Métis and First Nations in Saskatchewan. So I'll get Alana to introduce our dancers.
Hi everybody, good morning. So right here we have Angel Prosper from the Muscadet First Nation. We have Gray Icebester from the Takakoop First Nation. We have Brennan Linklater from Pelican Narrows Cree Nation. We have Kayla Mongram is a member of the PBCN, but she does have lineage from Pine House Métis Settlement. And we have your very own Brandy Nelson from Green Lake Métis Settlement. And then we have Reagan Misbonas from the Pine House Métis Settlement. And I'm Alana Dorian from Pelican Narrows Cree Nation. And we are the Creeland dancers.
So what we're going to do is we're going to demonstrate the Red River Jig for you. And then I think that is 13 changes. Yeah, 13. 13 changes of the Red River Jig. And then after that, we'll invite the crowd to come out and quickly learn the jig with us. So with that, we'll have Dean and his band play 13 changes of the Red River Jig. various communities, it can change from community to community. And over my years of teaching and stuff like that, I noticed that each community kind of has their own unique way of learning and teaching. And so we're going to invite you out to come and learn the Red River Jig. Our dancers will disperse themselves amongst you. So we'll try and make a big circle here for those that want to learn the Red River Jig. Awesome. And those that are sitting, I guarantee you can do it as you're sitting.
The lady behind the camera said that she would dance if she got 100 likes right now.
That's right.
10 likes, 10 likes, come on.
We're going to begin. You're going to start by kicking your heels back and forth. Heel, heel, heel. So what you're doing is you're teaching yourself to switch your body weight back and forth and balance on that other leg. Heel, heel, heel. Awesome. We're going to add the last part. So all it is think like someone who's marching in one spot. So what it's going to look like is heel, 1, 2, 3. Heel, 1, 2, 3. Heel, 1, 2, 3. There you go. Awesome. So we want to add a little bit of a hop that we do. All you're doing is after your heel, you do the hop into the 1, 2, 3. So it's like heel, 1, 2, 3. Heel, 1, 2, 3. And if you're not comfortable with it, just continue to do the heel 1, 2, 3 back and forth. You're still jiggling. Awesome. So anytime I say go back to the jig or go back to the basic step, this is what you're going back to, okay? Alright, so the first shape we're going to do is called the hop step. And all I'm doing is gently tapping the inside of my shins with my inside of my foot, back and forth. I'm not kicking too hard. Awesome. This is the hop step. Alright, are we ready to add the hop to it? So all you're doing is kind of like skipping. Hop, hop, skipping in one spot. There you go. And there's the hop step. And you can add some speed. Awesome. Back to that basic step. Kick, 1, 2, 3. Kick, 1, 2, 3. Awesome. And then the second change we're going to do is you're just going to go toe, toe, stop. Toe, toe, stop. Toe, toe, stop. Awesome. And the trick to this one is the leg that's not doing anything, that's the one that's doing the bouncing. That's where they get the bounce from when they're jigging. There you go. Back to the basic step. Kick, 1, 2, 3. Kick, 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Now the last change I'm going to teach you is called the scissor step. So you're going to go shoulder width apart, and then you're going to pick one of your feet to go in front of the other when you hop in like that. And then back out, and then that opposite foot is going to come in front. You're going to switch spots. Back and forth. Add some speed now. Awesome. That's the scissor step. So we're going to go over it one more time, and then we're going to do it to some music. So your basic step. Kick, 1, 2, 3. Kick. Does anyone remember that first change? Yeah. Hop step. Awesome. And back to basic step. Kick, 1, 2, 3. Kick. Anyone remember the second change? Toe, toe, stop. Toe, toe, stop. Basic step. Kick, 1, 2, 3. Kick, 1, 2, 3. What was the last one we did? Yeah, scissor step. Perfect. So remember what I said about each community has their own unique way? So if you get lost, just have fun with it. Okay? So we're gonna ask Dean and his band to play 3 changes of the Red River Jig for us. Starting with basic step. Kick, 1, 2. Hop step. Basic step. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Toe-toe stomp. Toe-toe stomp. Basic step. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Scissor step. Give yourselves a round of applause.
So we need your help, folks, especially when it comes to this last dance, the Orange Blossom Special. That's the part where when you hear that sound, can you do that one more time, Dean? That's where we need your help. We need you to clap. The more that you make some noise, the more that it encourages us and motivates us to do our best. Are you ready to see the fastest feet in Saskatchewan? Are you ready to see the fastest feet in Saskatchewan? I can't hear you. Right on.
Albert began playing the fiddle 16 years ago, focusing on Métis and old-time style music. Raised in a family of musicians whose mother sings and plays guitar, father was an accordion player, and Uncle Gary Larson, guitar player, who is a SCMA award winner. Dean started his own band called the Dean Smith Band and can be found playing at many Métis festivals in and around Prince Albert and back to Batoche. Dean has also been the feature fiddle player for the Creeland dancers. Please welcome Dean Smith.
Thank you. Hope you guys enjoyed so far what you heard. We're going to do some more tunes for you and keep you entertained for a little bit. So before we get going, I just want to take a moment to introduce everyone that's on stage here with me. To my left, playing bass guitar from Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, Boyd Faulkner. Guys in the cowboy hats singing songs, Mr. Carmen Robertson, Prince Albert. All the way from Birch Hill, Saskatchewan on the lead guitar, Mr. Justin Bludoff. And keeping the rhythm in the back down there on the drums, Mr. Craig Williams. And don't be shy, Green Lake, I know you guys can dance, so feel free to dance.
Say Creeland. Take me away, turn back here, sing me back home before I die. Just let them sing me back home before I die. Thanks very much.
Okay, using his life experiences, Okema has connected with Indigenous peoples from across the globe through his music. Originally from the Samson Cree Nation, he has called Meadow Lake his home for most of his life and is where he currently resides. An advocate for his people, he uses his music to bright light to the current ongoing Indigenous issues his people still face today, while using his battle with addiction and his current sober journey on the red road to inspire his people that it's never too late to break the cycles that plague our Indigenous peoples. Passionate for Indigenous youth, he travels across Turtle Island, inspiring and motivating through his speaking and music and showing the importance of decolonization of our lives through our culture, ceremony, and language. He is also an entrepreneur and proud owner of Okema Clothing, and through music and fashion, he intends to give back to the Indigenous community, and proud to say through fashion initiatives, he has been a part of raising $75,000 through Orange Shirt initiatives. His song, Life of a Native, released in 2019, currently has 800,000 views on YouTube and over 350,000 streams across all platforms, and is continually growing and connecting with Indigenous peoples and our allies across the world. With over 50,000 followers on Facebook, 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, he has built a community of Indigenous and non-Indigenous people and is bridging the gap that currently separates us through awareness, song, and fashion. Please welcome Cody Montour.
Yeah, I love that intro. I got a real loud voice. But I am so blessed to be in front of you guys, because you guys are gonna witness me stepping into my power, because this is where I belong, in front of my people, speaking, just showing you guys the power of love and how I transformed my life from an addict, an alcoholic, to success, prosperity, and love, and happiness, because that is what it's about. Yes. Before I do that, I love creating an energy. I love creating an energy in the events that I'm at. So any opportunity that I can, I definitely do. I just smudge, because you know, when I come up here and I speak in front of you guys, I am guided by the Creator and my ancestors. They are beside me. I ask them, please give me the words that you need to hear today. So before I do that, I want to continue to create some energy. I'm going to ask the Cree to come up and do an honor song before I start speaking. But you know a cool thing right now? Is that the Cree were actually contacted to be in the new Disney movie, Peter Pan. So when you hear our song, our drum in that movie, just know that that's the Cree representing for our people, that's going to be heard by millions of people across the world. So make some noise for that. With that said, boys, my nephew Talon is also part of this drum group. And I also saw, I think, two more of my nephews. My brother Robert is just, every time I see him, I'm having another one. So it's pretty cool to see, this young man here. He really makes me proud, because he is literally breaking cycles within his family. cycles that we have faced for a long, long time. And he has taken the steps through song, through our culture to just start breaking those cycles. So with that being said, thank you, boys.
Hi, gentlemen. Now I feel my heart thumping. I feel my body vibrating. I'm on a frequency where I feel comfortable, where I know that I'll be guided when I'm talking to you. And that is why I do this. So let's make some noise for the Cree, because these gentlemen are doing great things for our people. I'm gonna give my good friend Vince and my nephew Talon, they're gonna teach me some round dance songs. And you know, that's one of my goals, is through culture, through ceremony, through language, of reclaiming myself. So without further ado, this is me. I'm Cody Montour. A lot of you guys know who I am because I grew up in Meadow Lake. But I'm also known as Okema. Okema is the healer. Cody Montour, that you guys know from Meadow Lake, he's still going through it. He's still healing every day. But Okema guides him. Okema is my outlet, and he's my way to release. And that's what I go all across Turtle Island now. I go talk to communities, and I talk to them about how important it is to release, especially as an Indigenous male. As an Indigenous male, we have to start taking the steps to properly heal from our trauma. Because for a long, long, long time, I ran away. I ran away and I was lost. Lost for a long time, and my addiction and my alcohol and all that trauma would come and overtake me. Every chance that I got, it would come and take everything that I worked hard for. Why did I let my trauma consume me for so long? And that's why I go to communities and tell our youth, if you're experiencing pain, trauma, let's deal with it now. I use my story and myself as an example of what not to do, and that is to wait and to continue running. My story starts a long time ago. I grew up in Meadow Lake. I'm from the Samson Cree Nation. My mom, Bonnie McLeod, moved us here when I was around 2 years old. So ever since I was 2 years old, I grew up in Meadow Lake. I call Meadow Lake my home. Meadow Lake is my home. And they tried their best. My dad is Merlin McLeod. My mom is Bonnie McLeod. My late grandpa and grandma were Bruce and Marlene McLeod. You know, we had a very good life, a good upbringing. Yes, there was alcohol, parties, stuff like that. But my mom one day made a choice and said, that's enough. And she started taking the steps to start healing from what she was running from. The alcohol continued with my dad, with my father, but it was controllable. It wasn't nothing too crazy anymore. So by the time I got to around 12 years old, you know, I had everything in front of me where I could have been a success. I could have finished school, I could have went to university, I could have went to college. I could have did these things because they worked hard to provide for us. And they did that. But when I was a young man, when I was 14, 15 years old, before that, I was a kid on the outdoor rink. I was running around down the blocks, riding my bike. I was with friends at sleepovers playing PlayStation. 14, 15 years old, come around and I get introduced to alcohol. Right away, alcohol is becoming that vice. And for some reason, at such a young age, it started to consume me early on. And I would look forward to every weekend after school so I can go and party with my friends. Tiffany's just laughing at me. She's like, I remember those days. That's a trigger for me. Because it would consume all of us, all of my friends in Meadow Lake. We would go out and we would party all weekend. Not realizing what we're doing, thinking we're cool, but I would go the extra mile. I wouldn't be able to stop even at such a young age, and I would drink until I would black out. Drink until I'm causing a scene. You know, when you start living this life at such a young age, something is bound to happen. Something is bound to happen. It's just, I'm a big man of statistics. If you keep doing that, there's gonna be a percentage that finally comes and something is gonna happen, and that's what happened. When I was 17 years old, celebrating my 17th birthday, I was out in flying dust. We had a big fire pit celebrating my birthday, friends. I was just a popular guy back in high school. I had to have people around me at all times. So we had this big party for myself. After that party, about daybreak, 6 a.m., we chose to get into a vehicle. We chose to get into a single cab truck. 5 of us. 5 of us in a 3-seater vehicle. My friend at the time, he chose to drive and he was in no condition to drive. And we let him. I don't know why we let him. Were we scared of him? Or were we intimidated by him? But it happened. We go into Meadow Lake, driving into the towns of Meadow Lake, and you all know how Meadow Lake is. You yield to the right of way. Anybody coming? My friend, he kept going faster and faster and faster, saying, "Oh, I just love this truck. This is my favorite truck. This is my dream truck." To the point where we're finally saying, "Slow down, please. Slow down." All of us are begging him, "Please slow down." He keeps going faster and faster. And it happened. A vehicle on the right side of us, on our right of way, came through the intersection. There's no chance of us stopping. He was going 100 kilometers an hour. There was no chance, and we collided with this vehicle. All I could do in that moment was just close my eyes, and I grabbed my friend. My friend was sitting on my lap, and I just grabbed her. To this day, she's like, "You saved my life because I felt you. I felt you grab me because I was buckled in." And she'll remind me, "You saved my life," because she would have went through that windshield. We collided with the vehicle and it was completely total. All of us in the truck, we were surprisingly not too harmed, not too injured. My knees were banged up, but my automatic reaction was, once I came to, was go and check on the vehicle. Go and check on the other vehicle. So I went and I ran to that other vehicle, the first one. And this is where my trauma began. Because the scene that I saw when I ran up to that vehicle, I would not wish anybody to see those images. Those images took over my life for a long, long time. I didn't know what to do. The gentleman that was driving, his name was Courtney Queering, and he had passed away on scene. I ran to the hospital. We need help, with my bare feet. And I ran back to the scene. I was in shock, trying to play off what just happened. 17 years old. And this is, I tell this part of my story, it's a hard part of my story, but I need to let you guys know of why I went so dark and deep. I went back to the scene and Courtney's mom comes to the scene. And I always remember her scream. Her scream played through my head for a long, long time. It was a trigger for me for a long, long time. It just wouldn't leave, and her scream would come to me when things were going good. This is the effects of alcohol on our community, and it's still happening today. It is still happening today within our families, within our young families. Within our young families, with our young kids, we are choosing to still live this life that continues to take away from us. Not just ourselves, but our people, our young ones, our youth. Since that day, there has been many people who have passed away due to the effects of drinking and driving or alcohol in general. This made me lost. I was lost for a long, long time because people told me, you need help. You need to go to counseling. You need to talk to somebody. And I said, no, I'm all right. I don't need to go. I refuse to go. Not knowing that this was pushing me away from everybody that I loved because the triggers were so constant. And what did I do? I went right back to the bottle. You think I would know that the bottle is the reason why you're here? Learn the lesson. But I didn't. I kept running back to the bottle over and over and over again until it completely consumed my life. I continued drinking with my friends every weekend as much as possible. I had my first son when I was 17 years old. His mom was 15 at the time. Running away, I had my son. Running away in my mind and in my heart, I had my son, and my ego and my pride would come and take over. And they said, oh, don't listen to nobody, you can do this. So I ended up dropping out of school at grade 10. I got 9 credits. 9 credits to my name, and I went and worked at McDonald's. Tiffany laughing again because she knows she got those free cheeseburgers. I went and worked at McDonald's. And I always knew I was a hard worker. And when I was at McDonald's, they were trying to make me McManager. They're like, you do so good, we want to send you to California, we want to get you training, and we want to make you a manager. I was like, yeah, I'll be McManager. I can do this. The manager at the time was like, people, they make fun of McDonald's, but look at me. I got a house, I got a car, I got everything. He just had me, just a salesman, and I was like, okay, I'll be a manager at McDonald's for the rest of my life here. So I was just ready to do this. You know, things would go good for me because I was a hard worker. But all the time, I would try my best to just shut everything off. All those triggers from that night, I would try my best to shut them off. But it would work for a little bit, but eventually it would consume me. So every time that I did good in my life, like getting noticed by people of how hard I was a worker, how good I did, the bottle would come back and would consume everything, and I would end up losing everything that I worked hard for. And I did this in a cycle for many, many years leading into my early 20s. And because of this, I suffered 2 more severe traumatic events in my life. 2 more traumatic events came into my life that affected me even more. Instead of getting out of that darkness, I kept going deeper and deeper and deeper. And because of this, I was a lost young man. I was lost for a long time, and this road that I was on, it took me through a gang life, it took me through violence, abuse, took me through drugs, selling drugs to my own people for my beneficial gain, not realizing the harm that I was doing to my own people. It took me down a path that I thought was cool. And all these traumatic events kept happening. All this pain kept piling up. I didn't know I was completely lost. No, I would run to cities. I would run to Saskatoon, run to Regina, run to Edmonton, Calgary. I would run to these cities and do little bouts there and out, but I would always come home. I'd always come home to Meadow Lake and my mommy. Because I'm a mama's boy. I'm a mama's boy. I'm a proud mama's boy. My mom would make me feel better. So I'll come back. You know, one time, I think I was early 20s, I was finally introduced to Bebo. I was introduced to Bebo. None of you young ones don't know what Bebo is, but all these ones are like, oh, I miss Bebo. Share some love, bro. I was on Bebo and I had nothing to do at my mom's. I came back home, nothing to my name, nothing. So I started messing with music. And I created my first songs on a USB mic on an old computer. And I used a program called Audacity, and I would take beats from YouTube. And I made my first songs like that on a reel, and I would get a hanger, and I would bend it, and I would put my mom's pantyhose over it. So as a makeshift pop filter. And she always be like, quit using my pantyhose, I'm running out of them, jeez. I'm like, because each one, it would tear easily, but I would go grab another one. But this is how I made my first songs. My first songs in my basement at home. I put them on Bebo, and everybody was sharing some love with me. I was like, oh, I like this. I like this. And not realizing soon that once I dug deeper with the music, and I dug deeper with my lyrics and the beats, and I let some of that emotion that I was penning up on my shoulders and in my head and on my heart, I would talk about it through the lyrics of my music, not even realizing that at the time I was releasing. It was my outlet. You know, it's cliche when people say music saved my life, but that's exactly what happened, because if I would have kept carrying all that weight on me, who knows where I would be right now. But music was my release, that little bit of release through each song. I wasn't realizing it, but I ended up getting a little bit good. People were like, you're good, keep doing this. And it introduced me to some friends, and we called ourselves Res Inc. And we would go all across Saskatchewan, Alberta, Manitoba, and we would do shows too. But the thing is, we were consumed, each and every one of us were consumed by the bottle. We were alcoholics. And we would go to these communities, and we would say, tell all their youth, don't do drugs, don't drink. And we would get that money, and what would we do? We go buy a bottle, automatically drink, being hypocrites through our words and what we were doing. But we kept on in this lifestyle, because this is what music and rapping, it feeds that lifestyle, and that's what was happening. And then later on, I met this group called Winnipeg's Most. You guys remember Winnipeg's Most? Remember John C., Charlie Feta, the late Brooklyn? I ended up meeting them, and I got the opportunity to go on to hit up some communities with them. They invited me into their homes. They took care of me when I was in Winnipeg. But again, I was just doing music for the wrong reason. So instead of embracing that emotional release that was helping me release all the hurt and pain, I used music to feed my ego. Because I liked getting the recognition that it would give me. So I would continue doing all these party songs. I would continue drinking through it. You know, I was going through relationships. I'll be the first one to admit that I was not a good individual. I was a piece of you know what. I'm not gonna say it, but you know what I'm talking about. And I was lost, and anybody that came into my life would feel that, and any women who came into my life would feel that, and they would get that emotional abuse, sometimes even physical, because that's what the bottle does. So one time, finally, I was in Winnipeg's Most in Winnipeg, living the life. New Year's Day, this is where it starts getting better. It's not all gonna be sad. New Year's Day, well, this is a little bit, I know, it's not sad. New Year's Day, didn't hear from my girlfriend at the time. I'm like, what's going on? So I'm trying to phone her, not answering. She phones me and she was like, I cheated on you. I said, what? I cheated on you. How does it feel? I was like, whoa. It's like, not good. Because I cheated on her many, many times. And she was like, I'm done. I'm moving on. I was like, at the time, I was just like, my heart was just like, oh, what is this feeling? This is finally happening to me. And John C. comes into the room and he's like, what's going on, bro? I was like, my girlfriend cheated on me, bro. She cheated on me. She's like, what? Don't worry about it. I'm like, I don't know, bro, man. This doesn't feel good, man. I need a hug. He's like, what? I need a hug. Big John C. is like, what? Big John C. is like a big native tattooed all over. And he's like, oh, okay. So he gives me a hug. He's like, don't worry about it. He's like, and then I was like, I want to go home. And John C. was like, okay, we're going to get you home. We'll get you home. So that was New Year's, 2011, 2010. My wife, she'll get mad at me because of this. But 2011, 2010, can't really remember. So I start going back. I'm like, okay, I'm back in Meadow Lake. I always come back home, and I'm telling everybody, okay, I know what I need to do. At this time, I have 2 older boys, and I am not a father. I'm away from their lives. I'll send money here and there. That's about it. I am absent. And I said, I know what I need to do. I want to get back to my life. I want to get back to building. And I know I need to go to Edmonton. And I need to start working towards that. But this whole relationship thing sort of messed up. I went back to the bottle a little bit. And then on February 12th, I met my current wife. I call her my wife. We're not married, but we've been engaged for many, many, many years. Hopefully soon. She said, once you're out of debt, then I'll marry you. I was like, okay. That was years ago, but I'm still trying. But she was like, okay. I'm like, all right. But February 12th, I met her. 2 days later, February 14th, I said, you're mine. You're not going anywhere. You are mine now. And she was like, okay, all right then. Because you're so scary, I'm gonna, no. But she's like, all right, so February 14th, Valentine's Day is our anniversary. And right there, I was just like, you know, I've been a man who always ran away, and the only thing that would make me feel good is the presence of a woman. You know, a lot of us Indigenous men, we do that. We will break up, and we'll go into the next one, go to the next presence of a woman, because we're feeding our egos. This is a cycle that many of us are consumed in, and this is what happens, and that's why a lot of us are man, AWHOREs everywhere. So this is, it is really a thing, and that's what I was doing, but up until Miranda, and you know, things were going so good, and she finally gave me the strength, was like, okay, I know what I need to do, I want to be there for my son. She was building up my strength, and I said, I'm going to Edmonton, come with me. We've only been together for a couple months, and I don't know if you guys know Tammy McCollum, but that's her mom. And when I stole her from home, holy man, I thought I was gonna get a beat down. Because I literally said, come with me, please. I didn't force her, I didn't do that, but I was like, I want you to come with me. And she came with me to Edmonton, and we moved, and we started our life together. We started in the ghetto, right off 118th Avenue. Started in the ghetto in this in this rundown apartment. She was just like, oh, I get my own place, and then I get her to the apartment, and there's guys drinking in the stairwell, and I was like, oh, don't mind them. I was like, what's up, bro? And she was like, oh my gosh, what did I choose here? Well, we did it. We started that path, and we built with my wife, we started building a life, and I built from an apartment to a better apartment to a duplex and finally a house. And I did this alongside of her, and she was my strength for a long, long time. During this whole time, though, I was stuck in the cycle. Again, I would do so good. I've been sober for a year. I've been sober for 2 years before, but I would always fall off, and I would fall hard. And all of this would affect my family. We ended up having 3 kids together, and I would bring that home. Day in, day out, I would bring that home to her. So it is going to be a little bit sad here. So I gave her this lifestyle to her. This is what she was used to. And finally, I released in 2019, I shot my music video for Life of a Native. She just said her grandson Seth was in that video, Life of a Native. It's going to be 1 million views on YouTube right away. This year, we're going to hit 1 million views on that, which is amazing, crazy. And 2019, at this point, I wasn't sober. I just came back into drinking. I told my wife, I can drink, don't worry, I can handle this. I'll start with 1, 2, that's how I usually manipulate her into saying, okay. And I started drinking again. So during this time that I shot Life of a Native at Flying Dust Powwow, it really fed my ego because everybody was like commenting, sharing on Facebook, everything. It was getting shared. It went viral over Facebook and Instagram and all of that. So my ego was getting fed. And when you're not a healed man, when that happens, you walk around like don't stink. And that's what I was doing. It consumed me. Consumed me to the point where finally I was lost in the bottle again. My wife started with one weekend. 1 weekend of drinking turned into a month. I went on a month-long binge with my friend, fueled by drugs and alcohol. I went on this month-long binge, and my wife was enough. Enough is enough. Don't come home. I don't want this for my kids. I don't want this for myself. And she had every right to finally say enough is enough. I don't want none of it. Do not come home. And I was like, okay, my ego was fed. It's like, all right, whatever. Don't worry. It didn't really start hitting to me until I'm cleaning up our house in Edmonton. We had just moved to Meadow Lake. She got a job at MLTC. And during all of this is happening during all of this. And finally in Edmonton, she's like, go get your stuff in Edmonton. I got everything that I needed. Go get the rest of it. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'll go there. So I go to my house, open the door, and everything is gone. It's just cleared out. The only thing that is left is my TV and my home studio. But everything that we had worked hard together for was gone. And it was really starting to hit. So I told my friend, I'm like, we need to go, so let's just continue drinking. I need to just drink. Drugs. I said to him, you know what, bro, I'm gonna create a song. I'm gonna create a party song for us. And we're gonna get all these girls with it. It's gonna be amazing. And he was like, yeah, bro, do that, let's do that. I'm like, okay, so I go to my home studio, downstairs in the basement. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go find a beat. So I go try to find a beat. I'm trying to look for a party beat, an upbeat, but I come across this slow beat, and I was like, holy man, automatically a melody came to me. I was like, wow, but I was like, no, I'm looking for a party beat. And then I was like, you know what, man, I gotta go back to that beat, because that was really good. And I started writing to this beat that I found on YouTube. Little did I know is that beat would be the turning point. Because just like I said before, music was my outlet. It was my release. So everything that I had built for the last month on that binge, I was finally releasing all that emotion, and it came through a pen and a paper and through that mic that night. I continued to write and write and write, and before you know it, I was done this song. I recorded it, mixed it, and mastered it that night in about 2 hours. When I finally played that song through my speakers in my home studio, that was it. In that moment, I heard that song. I remember dropping to my knees. I dropped to my knees. I said, Creator, Lord, God, I need you right now. I need your strength. I do not want to live like this anymore, but I'm going to need you with me. I want to change. I want my family. I want my kids. I want my wife back. And I pleaded. I pleaded and pleaded. I was overcome by emotion. All that pain, all that hurts, it just flooded me. But for once, I finally felt that I can handle this. This was the turning point where I finally said, enough is enough. I want my life back, and I want to become the human that I know that I am. That the Creator knows I can be, that He meant for me to be. A week later, I decided to check myself in a detox. I told my wife, I'm going to change that. Since she's like, whatever, I heard this before. And I'm like, I'm going to detox. I went to detox, checked myself in. I was a week in, and we get an emergency. My son, Grayson, was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, so we had to rush to Saskatoon. You know, I had the opportunity. We don't recommend you leaving. We don't recommend you leaving detox, but it's your choice. I remember sitting on the bed in detox, on my detox bed, and I sat down, and I did the exact same thing. I said, Lord, God, I'm going to need you because I'm going to make a choice that can make an impact on me, and I want to do this right. I need you by my side. I need you to give me the strength. I'm pleading, I'm leaving, I'm going to need you here. In that moment, I felt a presence that I never felt before. In that moment, I felt this presence, a hand on me, giving me that strength, that extra push, and I finally said, I can do this. I had this confidence that I can do this. I feel good. I got this. So I went with my wife. I checked out a detox. I went with my wife. I said, don't worry. This is different. This feels different. I got this. That was 3.5 years ago. I made that choice. I'm 3.5 years sober. Chose, I said, enough is enough. I see the destruction that this is doing to myself and my family. I said, I'm going to make the changes. And I did. And with those changes came Okema clothing. Okema clothing, I saw on Life of a Native video, people were asking, where did you get that hoodie? I was wearing a Hustle Gang hoodie with a flaming Indian. I was like, oh, Hustle Gang. I was wearing a Hustle Gang hoodie, but everybody was attracted to that hoodie because it was like a flaming chief head. They're like, where did you get that hoodie? And I started thinking, I'm like, you know what? I could make my own hoodie. If people are interested in that hoodie, what would happen if I had my own hoodie in there? So I started taking the steps to start creating a logo. And this is the logo right here. This logo right here, I created for my album cover in like 2016. I did nothing with it because I've been working on an album for 10 years. Hopefully it comes out one day. But this logo looked a lot different, so I sent the logo to a tattoo artist in New Mexico, and he created me this real detailed version of this, and I got it simple down to one color. And that's what started Okema Clothing, was this exact design right here. That was 3 years ago. And we are now, Okema Clothing is now doing 6 figures of sales every year. Last year I did $250,000 in sales through Okema Clothing. Yes, amazing. I started this with $500. $500 with the help, yes. $500 with the help with some good friends at Clay at Snipe and Selly. He was a big part of it. He helped me out. And I started building this, and it kept going and going. And before you know it, Okema Clothing is being worn all across the world. I've sent packages to Germany, Australia, Switzerland, France, you name it. Okema Clothing is going there. People are connecting. And that's how I found the power in fashion. Just like music, fashion has power. I started building on this momentum, but I also it really came to me because I started seeing my people. I started connecting with my people on a whole nother level through fashion. When they put on a shirt of one of my designs, they know that it's a design meant for healing. Just like the shirts that I gave, that I gave here. This is my Change Begins With Me shirt. Change begins with me. And on the back I have our eagle teaching, the eagle teaching on the back. Because with each and every design, I want to connect and I want to help heal, but I want you to put on a garment and just feel proud. Proud to be indigenous, proud to be an ally. And that's what I built. I built this and it feels good. And along with this, I built music. I built a catalog. I made a song called All My Way. It reached number 4 on Indigenous Music Countdown. Life of a Native reached number 11 on the Indigenous Music Countdown. This is a national syndicate countdown that's streamed on Sirius XM radio and across Turtle Island. It was really falling together, and I started affirming this because I finally meant it in the beginning. But this is where it gets really good. Because in October of last year, I thought I was good. I thought I was healed. I thought I was ready. In October of last year, I got the privilege of going to Banff for 10 days, Banff, Alberta, and I attended a workshop called Heal Your Life. My sister mentioned it to me. She was like, you need to come to this. And I'm like, what is it? She's like, it's a workshop, Heal Your Life. And I was like, I don't know, it's based on the teachings of Louise Hayes. I'm like, I don't know who that is. I'm like, you gotta come. I'm like, all right, okay, well, sign me up. She's like, the band's gonna pay for it. I think we can go. And I'm like, okay, well, put my name there. I didn't really think much of it. And then finally she was like, yo, why aren't you answering the emails? I'm like, what emails? I'm like, we're in Heal Your Life workshop for 10 days. We're going to Banff for 10 days. I'm like, what? I'm like, that's like in a month. She's like, yeah, get ready. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, all right, I didn't really think of it. I'm like, okay, well, I get to go to Banff for 10 days. That's how I looked at it. So I go to this workshop. At this point in my life, I'm thinking, I'm healed, I'm doing good. I'm doing really good, I don't need this. I'm taking the steps that I know are helping me. So I go to this workshop in Banff. It's in the hotel. I go into this conference room, and this little white lady greets me at the door. And I was like, oh, hello. She's like, pushes my hand away, and she gives me a big hug. And I was like, oh, you're a good hugger. I'm like, wow. And I was like, but this hug is what started the momentum going into this 10 days. For 2 days, I did their Heal Your Life workshop. These teachings are based on Louise Hayes.
This is affirmations. This is manifestations. This is all about self-love. They had me in there. They had me doing their exercises. They had me hitting pillows and all of that. And I'm like, holy man, I don't know if I can do this. I would do it. But I had to get out of my comfort zone. I had to make a step where I finally said, you know what, Cody? You are here. You got to seize this opportunity and you have to go all in. You have to be invested. So by lunch on that first day, I said, okay, I'm invested. I'm going to do this. I'm going to give it my all. And I gave my whole heart into this workshop. One of the first exercises that they made us do after that lunch was a mirror exercise. They gave us a small mirror. And they said, this is mirror work. Hold it up. And I'm like, what do you say to yourself when you hold that up? And the first thing that came to mind was, oh, you're so fat. You're so ugly. Automatic. I'm like, holy. I was even surprised. I was like, what is going on? And they're like, okay, let's try again. Let's try again. She's like, look deep. Look into your eyes through this mirror. I saw a pool of tears building up in the corner of my eye. And I embraced those tears. I let them flow. I said, why do I hate myself like this? Why am I so hard on myself like this? In that mirror work, I finally said, this is where I say, I love you. I looked in that mirror and I said, I love you. You deserve love. You deserve all the blessings that the Creator is trying to give you. You deserve this. I started making my transformation in that workshop. It was the most beautiful thing that I experienced. And now I'm coming back, transformed. And now I go to communities and I say, why are you so hard on yourself? Why are we not healing? Why can't we heal? You deserve to heal. You deserve to be loved. Let's start breaking these cycles so our young ones can grow up in an environment where they can flourish, because we need to work on ourselves. This was it. And I took it full force. Each and every day I wake up and I say, I am loved. Just recently I finally stepped in. I stepped into my power, and I'm embracing that I am a powerful individual. I have a voice, and I have a way of connecting with my people. So I wake up, you know what, the lateral violence will say, no, you can't say that you're proud that you did this. The lateral violence will say, no, you can't say that you achieved this. And I said, no. I am not letting the world tell me how and what I cannot do and how to behave. So from now on, I am proud of everything that I did, and I say it loud. And I love being loud and proud. Yes, you feel that. It builds, it builds, it builds, it builds. If the word love makes you feel uncomfortable, you know that there's work needs to be done. I am loved. Say that day in, day out, with sincerity, knowing that. You know what it took to get here. You know the pain, the trauma, everything that you had to go through to get to this point in your life. You know what it took, so why are you being so hard on yourself? Why are you not allowing yourself to heal and truly tap into your truest form? And this is what I teach to our youth right now. Because each and every one of you are the future. If you can grow up knowing that I am the future and I am loved, you are going to be the change. They are going to be the change. The 7th and 8th generation that was prophesied, this is it, this is now, but we need to take the steps to make sure it happens. Through culture, through language, through respect, through love, we can do this. You guys are doing it in this community right now by being here as a community. You made the choice to say, you know what? I'm going to go to the cultural wellness gathering today, and I'm going to go and enjoy a good day. Many people are sitting at home right now because they will not allow themselves to be free. Free of those shackles that like to hold us down. Those shackles that will just keep us down, because when we're down here, they control us. All those systems that they implemented in residential school, when they keep us down here, they still control us. But when we tap in and we elevate and we're up here, then they start saying, uh-oh. Because then that voice comes. And with the power of social media, the power of connection and community, we are breaking barriers. We are breaking cycles, and we are being proud and loud about it. And that is where we're stepping in. And this is the change that is happening right now. And I guess Shiver's talking about it because you guys can be a part of it. You just gotta switch that off and say, no, now is the time. Each and every day, you wake up. I wake up with a smile on my face, no matter what. I just start reading this book. I wake up, first thing I do is I smile. Doesn't matter how bad the yesterday was, I get up, I smile. I get up, go into the mirror, start my daily routine. I say, I am loved. You are amazing. You are powerful. I look at myself in the mirror. You are doing it. Damn right. And this is where the beauty happens. When I have that energy, when I have that connection with myself, when I wake up with my kids, when I wake up next to my babies and they're getting ready, I'm doing everything with love. I'm making their lunches with love. I'm getting them dressed with love. And when I'm able to do this, all those learned behaviors that we learned because of residential school, because they were passed through generations, all those little snaps that we do to our kids, when I do that to my babies, I'm able to check myself. Hey, that's a learned behavior right there, Okema. You're not supposed to be doing that. You know better than that. Let's rewind that back. So instead of snapping because my son spilled juice on the floor, why did you do that? Because he does. That's what we grew up on. We've heard that. We've heard that reaction. Now I'm going down to their level. It's all right, my boy. Accidents happen. I'll help you clean it up. I'll do this with you. Little steps. Little steps. Telling my babies, I love you. I got my son, all my kids, when I drop them off at school in the morning, my boy, what do we say? I am loved. I am amazing. My 10-year-old boy who has type 1 diabetes and is on the autistic spectrum, he'll go ham and be like, I am loved. I am smart. He's just affirming everything right there with me. It is already, you can see the change that it's doing within my family. These are the changes that we need to do. And this is why I go to communities, the power of love. I stand behind it. I look at my indigenous men in the eye and I say, it is time. It is time to embrace that love that our kids, that our wives are trying to give us, that our family is trying to feed us and let us know you are loved. It is time to embrace it, and that is what I do. I embrace all that love from all my family, from all my fans. I finally embrace it, and it makes me feel like I am powerful. Because that is what it does. It's a beautiful thing, healing. My trauma no longer triggers me. I have no triggers. My trauma, my pain, that story when I was 17 years old, it doesn't cause me pain anymore, it motivates me. Just like all of your trauma should motivate you. The way that I healed from my trauma, I went back to that day and I faced that pain and the hurt like I was supposed to. Once I did that, once I released, I was able to switch it, and now I use it for motivation because I know what it took to get through that. The tears, the pain, the hurt, the guilt, all of those emotions, I utilize it to inspire myself now because I know what it took to get through that. And now I say it proudly, I am loved. And I hope one day you guys will continue tapping in, make those choices to say, yes, enough is enough. I deserve to heal. And I'm going to start taking the steps to heal. Alcohol, drugs, they're consuming our communities at a level that is crazy right now, consuming our families. But it can start right here, right now, with all of you, of just making that choice. No, I'm not going to bring that into my family. I'm going to make a choice to create a safe, normal environment where our young ones can flourish. Step in. It is a beautiful thing. 2023 is just getting started, and it's never too late. I'm a 36-year-old rapper. Hola. You hear that? Hola. No doubt though, 36 years old. Hola. But that's very true because I never let my age stop me, because even though I'm getting up there in age and I'm rapping with all these young guys and everything, all these young cats, I don't let it stop me because this is what works for me. This is my outlet. So I'm going to continue doing it no matter who makes fun of me. I'm going to be 45 years old rapping. Just gonna let you guys know that, all right? Just forewarn you guys. I'm gonna be dyeing my hair, hiding all the grays. But it's gonna happen because this is what works for me. It's my outlet. And that's why I always say the importance of having an outlet. When you see your babies embracing an outlet, nourish it. My son will draw for hours upon hours. He'll just sit there and draw things. He'll go on YouTube and he'll just draw. And I nourish it. When he's done, oh my gosh, that's amazing, my boy, you're amazing. Wow. Go to the next one. Oh my gosh, that's even better than the last one. My baby loves to dance. I'm right there dancing with them. That old Cody Montour who used to walk around real serious. What's up? What's up? He's non-existent no more. I'm right there dancing with my kids, singing with them, embarrassing them, because I'm letting them know that it's okay. But those are the changes that we need to make. And I'm telling you, it is never too late. 36-year-old rapper, still doing it. Doesn't matter your age. Doesn't matter your race. Doesn't matter whether you're tapped into your culture or not, you can do it right now. Everything will follow. When I started making these choices to start healing properly, everything followed. My culture followed. I now know the importance of the Creator, of our ancestors, our grandfathers, our grandmothers who come with us when we are in ceremony and they guide us. And I know the strength that they give me and that they walk alongside me. And that was the presence that I felt. It's a beautiful thing. And when you tap in, nothing can stop you. And this is where I am now. Now you guys will get to see the transformation I do, because I love ending this with music, because it creates an energy where you guys are like, yes, this is it. Now I'm making a change right now. Okema, he is just an amazing, handsome young man. No, I was kidding, but. All right, we're gonna do this. What time did I start talking? When I'm done, all right. Okay, so you know what? I always like reading the crowds and how I do things, so I'm gonna let you, I'll just tell you which ones to play, but we're gonna start off on Monday. I'll come back to you. All right, the first song that I'm gonna do for you guys is called On My Way. This song I made for my mom because through everything that I put my mom through, my mom always continued praying. So I said, I'm praying for you, my boy. I'm praying for you. And you'll notice in the hook, I always say that, praying with my mama. I could always rely on, that's why I'm a mama's boy, because I always felt the strength of that prayer. And this song made it to number 4 on the Indigenous Music Countdown. So, there you go. I'll let you know if turn it up or not. Turn it up a little bit. Yo. A little bit more. Like a little bit loud, sorry. Yo. On my way to finally make it out the gutter, yeah. On my way, I've been praying with my mother, yeah. Cause I've been going through my life with a blindfold, running from my past life with my eyes closed. On my way to finally make it out the gutter, yeah. On my way, I've been praying with my mother, yeah. Cause I've been going through my life with a blindfold, running from my past life with my eyes closed. It's been a hard life ever since I started night, and then from that point, acting like I'm alright. It's been a matter, but I feel like I'm getting up. It's been a long time coming, I'ma live it up. But only I know I can break the cycles. There's no denial, it's always been survival. Cause you ain't never gonna know what we going through. All the dark and all the pain, if you only knew, you wouldn't last, no, running from the past, yo. I hit the gas, yo, trying not to crash, yo. What it takes to run away from your hate, yeah. But I'll be finally on my way, I'm just late, yeah. On my way to finally make it out the gutter, yeah. On my way, and I've been praying with my mother, yeah. Cause I've been going through my life with a blindfold, running from my past life with my eyes closed. On my way to finally make it out the gutter, yeah. On my way, and I've been praying with my mother, yeah. Cause I've been going through my life with a blindfold, running from my past life with my eyes closed. This dedication, it started from the basement, and I've been patient, but now I'm on the chase, yeah. It's about time that I know what my worth is. I put my soul and my spirit in these verses, but it's relentless, growing on the wrist, yeah. It's always endless, always trying to test, yeah. But now I know how cold that the world gets. Everybody looking in like it's worthless. It's time to change that, moment's been praying that I make my way back away from the rain, yeah. Cause I've been crawling from the bottom, now I made it. And when I finally dropped the bottle, I was saying, yeah. On my way to finally make it out the gutter, yeah. On my way, and I've been praying with my mother, yeah. Cause I've been going through my life with a blindfold, running from my past life with my eyes closed. On my way to finally make it out the gutter, yeah. On my way, and I've been praying with my mother, yeah. Cause I've been going through my life with my eyes closed, running from my past life. Okay, Spirit. Yes, yes. All right, all right. I need you young fellows. I need you as loud as you can. Make some noise. Yeah, you guys can do better than that. One more time. Make some noise. Yeah. All right, this next one is called Spirit Home. This is the song that helped me heal. This is the song I go to when I'm having a day where I feel like I could really use a drink right now. This is the song I go to, I listen to, because I created it to remind myself of how far I came and what I do to remain sober and why I am doing this. Just give me a second, I need some water. Before I pass out, you guys will be calling the ambulance here. Canceling all the rest of my dates. You know, what's cool about what I get to do is that I'm going to Toronto in 2 weeks. My first time in Toronto, and the power of my music is what's taking me there, and it's taking me across, and then I get to go to Montreal next month. It is an amazing thing, and this is why I always say don't stop doing what you love. Hola. That's good. On the count of 3, I want you guys to say hola. 1, 2, 3, hola. Yeah, yeah, Spirit home. All right, all right, all right. Turn it up a little bit. A little bit more. There you go, that should be good. I know I'm somewhere in here I can feel, yeah, yeah. I'm hiding from the demons I've been dealing with. You'll never know the pain that I feel, yeah, yeah. I'm praying every day I get my spirit back, man. Cause when I let that evil in my spirit goes, consuming all the light that my spirit holds. When I'm feeling lost, it's cause my spirit rolls. It's time I start to heal and bring my spirit home. I don't know why I do this. Always gotta be on the influence. Take another drink, cause it drown this pain. Till it sings, cause a drink is a liquor, can't do it. It's a never-ending cycle. Looking back on my past, where my life go, where it went wrong. Cause I'm about to lose it all, so cold to the Lord. There's a whole God like goes. This is living on the edge, got me living like a mess. I'm afraid when it takes me. Cause I don't need help when I'm by myself and these demons love to chase me. I just wanna get home, don't wanna be alone no more. Cause lately I've been living crazy, way too crazy. Just wanna get back to my babies. Just to hold my wife, get back to the life that worked so awful. But I don't know why make my life so damn awful. It's a constant fight, each passing night just makes more and more. A double-edged sword that all our wounds only harm me more until the liquor pours. I feel so ashamed that I can't explain this pain that haunts me. But they like to get in the way, so they use my pain and my past and taunt me. So every single day is a battle I face and it's getting so daunting. Why am I sway? All I wanna do is change, cause I know in the end it's only gonna cost me. I know I'm somewhere in here I can feel, yeah, yeah. I'm hiding from the demons I've been dealing with. You'll never know the pain that I feel, yeah, yeah. I'm praying every day I get my spirit back. Cause when I let that evil in my spirit goes, consuming all the light that my spirit holds. When I'm feeling lost, it's cause my spirit rolls. It's time I start to heal and bring my spirit home. Yeah, it's time to stop this. Show my kids that I'm strong, I got this. Time to come home, even stronger before. No one ever be alone as long as I got them. Yeah, it's time to break the cycle. We were bred from the blood of survival. Time to take control. It's alcohol, it's stranglehold that it has on the people. So I'll look at myself and admit it need help when you're hiding with the bottle. Cause the pain that I felt and the way that it dealt was the root of the problem. Yeah, it's gonna be hard, but I'm leaving more scars on my kids cause I brought to a broken home. Cause daddy brings home all the pain that he owns and the things that he bottles. So thinking back on my life and I proved to my wife that I'm good with his war. And I love this fight for my kids and my wife cause they're all in for. There was times in light on the darkest nights when daddy cries forward and so before. The hearts I tore, but that's no more cause daddy is a Lord. And he lifts me up when times getting tough, he reminds me daily And I'm blessed with love, and my kids look up to their daddy on the daily. So I'll never give up when I'm getting mixed up with the things that fail me. No one ever break me, no one ever take me, especially when my babies. So the Lord comes to save me. I know I'm somewhere in here, I can feel, yeah. I'm hiding from the demons I've been dealing with. You'll never know the pain that I feel, yeah. I'm praying every day I get my spirit back. Cause when I let that evil in my spirit goes, consuming all the light that my spirit holds. When I'm feeling lost, it's cause my spirit rolls. It's time I start to heal and bring my spirit home. Make some noise! Yeah. That's my song called Spirit Home. That's a song I made for me, and it's connecting with recovering alcoholics, addicts, people on the red road all across the world, and it's amazing. So if you guys haven't yet, make sure you go to Facebook and follow Okema, Instagram, TikTok. Make sure you follow me, Okema. All right. Ooh. I'm gonna tell you, after the second hook, after the second chorus on here, hit pause when the next guy comes in. Because I'm gonna give you guys a treat. I don't know if you guys follow me on TikTok, hopefully you guys do. I'm looking at you guys. Go on TikTok, follow Okema. Because I've been slowly building a following on TikTok because I've been doing these duets with other artists and stuff. So this one is, I did a duet with Russ. You guys know who Russ is? Yeah, Russ. You guys know? So Russ is a huge star across the world, and he gave people the opportunity to do an open verse to one of his songs. So I did one. And surprisingly, it took off. I think it's over 150,000 views on TikTok. One of my biggest videos on there. And I had a lot of people saying, you need to make this into a song. You need to make this into a song, and that's what I did. I did this, and this song is going to be an anthem. I'm telling you guys that right now. I'm hoping this is my water, or else, again, someone's cooties. But we're gonna do this. This is my remix to Russ's Are You Not Entertained? And I call it Warrior. So with that, make sure the levels are nice and high on this one, because this is high impact right now. And you guys are one of the first few. I only did this in Shoal Lake once. So you guys get to hear this. Oh yes, that's just. So yes, so this is it. Warrior, one of the first people to hear this. So without further ado, let's do this. Woo! Are you not entertained? Yeah. Make some noise! I know you hear my cries and my prayers. I'm sick of all the lies, we know they hate us. That's why it's dead inside, they try to take us. But I'm a warrior. I'll be standing on this ground till we're victorious. Now tell me whose story is more glorious than the story of my people. We are warriors, warriors. Who is this thing that will keep on paving the way, breaking the chains, holding my people in cages? History changes, ripping our pages, dollars facing, warriors painted, look at their faces. I will stand for all the ages, government knows, staying courageous, standing the ground like buffalo grazing. No longer can I just stand back, warriors screaming, it's land back, breaking the cycles, dismantling that. All the trauma, only handling that. Taking our pride and our power back. Making us better and loud as that. All of the native, I'm proud of that. All of our youth, empower that. Creator, I know you hear my cries and my prayers. I'm sick of all the lies, we know they hate us. That's why it's dead inside, they try to take us. But I'm a warrior. I'll be standing on this ground till we're victorious. Now tell me whose story is more glorious than the story of my people. We are warriors, warriors, yeah. Years of oppression, but still we fighting the system to win these history lessons. told you about the struggle we in. Make some noise for Warrior! Yeah, that one's gonna blow up. We're doing a music video and everything for that one. So it's gonna be huge, and I spilled my water, I'm sorry. Warrior, man. It's gonna be one more time. Oh, I thought you said one more time. I've had in show like they're like, one more time. I'm like, holy man, I don't know if I can do it. Oh, okay, one more time. Replay one more time. This one I'm gonna do it really. Woo. So guys, get out your phones. I'm gonna make it as epic as I can, all right? As epic as we can. Again, we're gonna do it again. Play it on the tape. Here we go. Are you not entertained? Creator, I know you hear my cries and my prayers. I'm sick of all the lies, we know they hate us. That's why it's dead inside, they try to take us. Take us, but I'm a warrior. I'll be standing on this ground till we're victorious. Now tell me whose story is more glorious than the story of my people. We are warriors. Warriors, hey, who is this name? Okema paving the way, breaking the chains, holding my people in cages. History changes, ripping up pages, dollars facing. Warriors painted, look at the faces. I was dead for all the ages, young and old, staying courageous, standing the ground like buffalo raising. No longer can I just stand back. Warriors screaming this land back, breaking the cycles and battling that. All the trauma we handling that, taking our crimes like power back. Ain't nothing better and loud as that. Like of a native, I'm proud of that. All of our youth empower that. Creator, I know you hear my cries and my prayers. I'm sick of all the lies, we know they hate us. That's why it's dead inside, they tried to take us. Take us, but I'm a warrior. I'll be standing on this ground till we're victorious. Now tell me whose story is more glorious than the story of my people. We are warriors. Warriors, yeah. Use of oppression. Woo! Yeah. Oh, la. Oh, la. Oh, I'm just feeling like an uncle now. Oh, la. This out of breath here. Oh, okay, I gotta call my nephew Spirit here and get me some energy here. Because this next one is the one that created Okema. I'm gonna ask all the youth, all the kids, come stand right here. Right here, come on. Right here. Because we're going to do something special. Thank you, sir. Yes. All right, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to do Life of a Native. All right? When I do Life of a Native, make sure you guys go on YouTube and go follow Okema after this. And tell your mommy and daddy, child tax is gonna come, so I want an Okema. Life of a Native. When I put my fist up, I want you guys to all do the same. So let's practice. Fist up! Yes. Proudly, yes. I love it. Okay, one more time, put it down. Fist up. Okay, I'm not gonna say fist up, so you guys are gonna, once you guys know my fist up, I need you guys to put your fists up, alright? Alright. I'm sweating, okay. We're gonna do Life of a Native right now. So let's do this. Remember, when I put my fist up, you guys' fists are up, alright?
I'm wondering what generation that
You'll hear it.
What would be the signs?
This is my song called Life of a Native.
America is.
We're gonna be hitting 1 million views this year on YouTube. Over 500,000 streams across the world.
This kind of exploitation is more
Let's turn my mic up just a little bit.
identifiable.
And the beat.
Cultures are getting stronger.
There you go.
It's about your own survival.
All right. Let me have some high five. can do now. It is never too late. Each and every one of those youth that were up here were engaged. Looking me in the eye. That is what's needed. We need to nourish that. I love doing Life with a Native because it just gets everybody hype. But I love ending with this song. Remember when I said in my story, this song that I made in the basement when I was in my binge, when I finally said enough is enough. This is the song that I love ending with. Because this is the realization of what it takes and the power of our outlets. I'm gonna take can you turn up the mic a little bit? Check, check, 1, 2. Woo! That one takes a lot of my spirit here. Okay, check, 1, 2, a little bit more. Mic check, there you go, I think that's it. I get really emotional doing this one. So, if I do, just know it's just because it's so personal to me. So, with that being said, it should be far too long. My song called Far Too Long is the one I made when I finally said, enough is enough. This is the one I go to, this is the one I perform to let people know the power of music, the power of the outlets, because this is what finally made me tap in. And you guys get to experience this, and I'm so happy. So, with that being said, let's go. You turn up a little bit. Mic check. much as this could be healing for you, it is healing for me. I have healed today. I am taking the energy that we created today, and I'm going to take it into tomorrow, and into the next, and into the next community that I'm going. I'm taking all of this energy, and you guys help me create it. So have a round of applause for yourselves. Yes, yes. I live here in Meadow Lake, Green Lake. Meadow Lake's not too far. So if you guys ever need advice, anything, if you have a young one that you think is just getting a little too lost or needs some words of advice, encouragement, let me know and I will help you. I will do anything I can to speak some words into them that will motivate, that will inspire, and let them know that it's never too late and that we need to start now. With that being said, I love you all. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you, Cody, for that awesome performance. Okay, we'll carry on with our agenda. The Cree singers originated from Island Lake First Nations and come from a background of long-standing powwow families, both singing and dancing for powwows for many years. They're an up-and-coming drum group on the powwow trail, hosting many different powwows every summer, year to year. Since starting up this drum group, singers from First Nations like Flying Dust, Makwasailegan, and Big Island First Nations, to name a few, have teamed up bringing more a variety of songs and sounds to the already talented drum group. They have traveled throughout Canada and the USA, showcasing their songs and style of singing of pride and respectful ways of the Cree way of life as we know it. I'd like to welcome the Cree drum group and dancers.